William Grant's back ached after 6 hours of sitting on the uncomfortable alien chair. The Galactic Council meeting room, with its high ceiling and strange blue lights, felt colder than usual. For 73 years, humans had played by the rules. For 73 years, they had been ignored. William watched as the Altarian representative Kexmore waved his 6-fingered hand. The alien's blue skin wrinkled around his eyes as he spoke. The human request for new trade routes is denied, Kexmore said. He didn't bother to explain why. He never did. William kept his face calm, but inside, his anger grew. This was the 17th time this year that the aliens had said no, without even talking about it. The huge round room, built from crystal and metal and floating in space near Proxima Centauri, filled with the low voices of the 17 alien races who ran everything. "Sir," whispered Catherine Lee sitting next to William. Her brown eyes showed worry. They also said no to the medicine for Tau Ceti. William closed his eyes for a moment. 3 million people on the human colony at Tau Ceti would not get the medicine they needed. People would die because these aliens couldn't be bothered to care. "Enough," William said quietly. Catherine looked at him. "Sir?" I said, "Enough." William stood up slowly. His black uniform, with the earth patch on the shoulder, seemed to grow tighter as he rose. The room got quiet. Everyone stared. Junior members, like humans, were supposed to sit quietly unless asked to speak. "Representative Grant," said Zoxval from his tall chair at the center. The Centaurian was old, even for his long-lived species. His gray skin hung in folds and his 4 eyes blinked in different patterns. "You have not been given permission to speak." William looked around the room. The Altarians with their blue skin, the insect-like Rigelians, the floating gas clouds that were the Betelgeusians, all watching, all waiting for the human to sit down and know his place. "I don't need your permission anymore," William said. His voice didn't shake. He had practiced this moment in his mind. For months, Zoxval's upper eyes widened. "This is not protocol." "Protocol," William almost laughed. "For 73 years, we humans have followed your protocol. We've given you our resources. We've shared our inventions. We've sent our soldiers to die in your wars." William took a step toward the center of the room. The guards at the doors, tall reptilian Syrians with plasma rifles, shifted but didn't move. When the Procyon plague spread, it was human doctors who found the cure. When the Vega system needed new energy sources, it was human engineers who built the solar collectors. When the Arcturus rebels attacked this very council, it was human ships that protected you. Catherine stood up beside him. Then Sam Rivera, the human trade representative. Then Alicia Winters, the human science advisor. One by one, the entire human delegation rose. "And what have we gotten in return?" William continued. "You reject our ideas without discussion. You ignore our needs. You treat us like children who should be grateful for a seat at the grown-ups' table." The chamber was completely silent now. Even the usually chatty Betelgeusians, whose gas forms rippled with colors when they communicated, had gone still and gray. William pulled a small device from his pocket and pressed his thumb to it. It glowed green. "What is that?" demanded Kexmore, the Altarian. "I just sent a message to Earth," William explained. "As of this moment, by the authority given to me by the United Earth government, humanity officially withdraws from the Galactic Council and all connected treaties." Zoxval stood up, his robes falling around his thin body. "You cannot do this. The withdrawal process requires years of—" "We're not following your processes anymore," William cut in. "You've shown us that rules only apply when they benefit you." The room erupted into noise. The Rigelians clicked their mandibles rapidly. The Syrians hissed. The Betelgeusians flashed red and purple. "This is madness," shouted Lithvar of the Procyon Collective, her scales standing on end. "You humans need the Council. Your colonies depend on our trade networks. Your defense relies on our protection." William smiled for the first time that day. Does it? Or Have you relied on us more than you've been willing to admit? He turned to Catherine. Ambassador Lee, please inform our staff to begin evacuation procedures from all council facilities. Catherine nodded and spoke into her wrist communicator. Throughout the council station, humans were already packing up, downloading data, and heading for their ships. Think carefully about what you're doing, Grant, said Norak Zim, the head of council security. The tall, gray-skinned alien leaned forward. The galaxy is a dangerous place for those without allies. We know, William replied. That's why we've spent the last year making new ones who treat us as equals. That caused another wave of shocked voices. Council protocol forbade member species from forming outside alliances. You've violated the exclusivity clause, gasped Trell Nook, the economics minister. We've prepared for this day for a long time, William said. While you were ignoring us, we were planning. While you dismissed our ideas, we were working with others who would listen. The non-council worlds have been quite open to fair trade deals. Zoxval's voice cut through the noise. If you walk out those doors, there is no coming back, Representative Grant. William looked at the ancient alien who had led the council for over 300 years. That's Ambassador Grant, and we don't want to come back to a place where we're not respected. He turned and walked toward the huge doors at the back of the chamber. Catherine and the rest of the human delegation followed. No one tried to stop them. As the massive metal doors closed behind them with a deep boom, Catherine looked at William, her face serious. What happens now? She asked. William took a deep breath. The weight of 73 years of frustration lifted from his shoulders, replaced by the weight of humanity's future. Now, he said, we show them exactly what they've lost. In the docking bay, 12 human ships powered up their engines. Within an hour, the last human would leave the council station. Within a day, humans across council space would be heading home. The council thought they were punishing a disobedient child. They were about to learn they had freed a power they had never truly understood. 6 weeks after the humans left, the council was falling apart. Lithvar slammed her scaled fist on the table. The green scales on her hand flashed with anger. How can we have so many problems in just 6 weeks? She shouted. The emergency meeting room was smaller than the main council chamber. Only the executive committee sat around the oval table. Red lights blinked on the big map of council space that floated above them. The humans ran more things than we knew, said Trell Nook. The thin Syrian looked tired, his long fingers tapping nervously on the table. Their ships carried 63% of our supplies. Their systems managed our trade networks. Their people fixed our machines. Around the table, the alien leaders looked worried. Kexmore, the blue-skinned Altarian who had dismissed the humans so easily 6 weeks ago, now couldn't meet anyone's eyes. The Arcturus medical station has no more medicine, Trell Nook continued. The Vega shipyards can't build new ships without human designs. And 17 outer worlds have water systems that are breaking down because the humans aren't there to fix them. At the far end of the table sat Frank Sawyer. He wasn't supposed to be there. The humans had left the council. But the council had begged for a consultant, and Frank had been sent. Frank didn't smile as he watched the council members argue. He had short gray hair and eyes that had seen too much. He waited. The humans will come back, said Lithvar, her voice less sure than her words. They must understand they need us as much as we need them. Frank cleared his throat. All eyes turned to him. Humanity lived on its own for thousands of years before we met you, he said calmly. In the 6 weeks since we left, we've changed all our factories to make things just for human worlds. How long have you spent getting ready for life? Without us, no one answered. The silence was heavy. Frank reached into his pocket and pulled out a small crystal. He slid it across the smooth table. My government told me to give you this, he said. It has instructions for keeping the life support systems running. A gift to show we don't want anyone to suffer. The council members stared at the crystal, like it was both wonderful and shameful. Help they desperately needed but shouldn't have to ask for. Is that all? Asked Zoxval, the ancient council leader. Earth is ready to talk, as equals, not as servants, Frank said. That's the only
Way, we'll talk.
As Frank left the room, Norak Zim, the council's security chief, followed him into the corridor. The tall alien moved silently for someone so big. "You've been busy," Norak Zim said. His voice was low. "Our spies say you've made trade deals with 7 non-council races." Frank smiled for the first time that day. 12, actually. "Your spies need to work harder. The council has existed for 20,000 years, Norak Zim said. You think humans can survive alone?" "We won't be alone," Frank replied. "We'll be with friends who treat us fairly." Back on Earth, things were changing fast. In the big meeting, room of the United Earth Government building in Geneva, screens showed human ships moving across the galaxy. Green lines connected Earth to more and more worlds that had never joined the Council. "The Crawl of Tau Gemini have agreed to our terms," said Lisa Chen, the trade director. "They'll give us rare minerals in exchange for our water purification technology. They've never gotten a fair deal from the Council." President Olivia Ramirez nodded as she looked at the map. "And the Lorians?" "Very interested in working with us," said Lisa. "They've lived under Council rules for 300 years. They like our ideas about equal partnerships." Olivia walked to the window. She could see the spaceport from here, busy with ships coming and going. "And the Council?" "Starting to panic," said Jack Davis, the intelligence chief. His screen showed reports from across Council space. Food shortages on 4 worlds. Manufacturing problems on 7 more. They depended on us more than they knew. "They're too proud to admit it yet," Olivia said. "But they will." In orbit above Earth, the human fleet grew larger every day. Ships that had once served the Council now returned home. And new ships built in secret over many years joined them. Admiral Carl Sanders watched from the Bridge of the Freedom, the largest human warship ever built. It had been hidden in the asteroids for years, waiting for this moment. "The Council never let us build ships this big," said his second-in-command, Linda Polanski. "They said it was too dangerous." "They meant it was dangerous for them," Carl replied. "They wanted us weak and dependent." A junior officer approached. "Sir, we've received word from the Proxima Centauri colony. All humans have evacuated successfully. The Council tried to stop the last ships, but they got through." Carl nodded. "And the special cargo?" "Safely removed before the Council knew what was happening," the officer said with a small smile. For 73 years, humans had built the Council's infrastructure. They had placed their own secret systems inside everything they built. Now, they were using those back doors. In the Council's main database center on Sirius Prime, Jen Wong worked quickly. She had only minutes before the Council's security systems would detect her. Her fingers flew over the keyboard. "How much longer?" asked Ben Harris through her earpiece. He was watching for guards from the corridor outside. "Almost done," Jen replied. "Downloading the last of the restricted files now. The Council has kept a lot of secrets." 30 seconds until the next security sweep," Ben warned. Jen's screen flashed green. "Got it." She pulled a small device from the console and slipped it into her pocket. "Let's go." They walked calmly to their ship, just 2 more humans leaving. Council space. The guards barely looked at them. Humans weren't important after all. 3 days later, in the war room deep under the Rocky Mountains on Earth, President Ramirez reviewed what Jen had found. "These files prove the Council has been holding back technology from us," said Jack Davis. "They've had faster-than-light communication for 500 years. They told us it was impossible." "And this?" Olivia pointed to another report. "They've known about 5 more habitable planets in our sector but kept them secret," Jack said. "They didn't want us expanding too quickly." Olivia closed the file. "Send copies to all the independent worlds we're working with. Let them see how the Council has treated everyone." On the Rigelian homeworld, Council member Zeek-Tik watched the humans leave with mixed feelings. The insect-like Rigelians had always gotten along better with humans than most Council species. "You don't have to go," Zeek-Tik said to Samuel Lee, the human ambassador to Rigel. "Orders are orders," Samuel replied. "All humans are leaving Council. Space." "The Council made a mistake," Zeek-Tik admitted, clicking his mandibles softly. "I voted against dismissing your trade proposal." One vote wasn't enough, Samuel said, but remember this conversation in a few months, when the Council realizes what they've lost. As the last human ships left Council space, Frank Sawyer sent one final message to the Council. We will not return to the old ways. We are ready to work with anyone who treats us as equals. The choice is yours. 8 months after humanity walked out, Admiral Carol Martinez stood on the bridge of her ship, the Washington. She was a tall woman with dark hair pulled back tightly. Her blue uniform had the new Earth Defense Force patch, a globe with stars around it. They're coming, said Victor Ramirez, her second-in-command. He pointed to the big screen that showed space around Earth. 5 large alien ships moved slowly toward Earth. One was bigger than the rest, the Council's main diplomatic ship. The other 4 were warships, their weapons hidden but ready. They're trying to scare us, Carol said. She wasn't scared. Signal the fleet. Victor pressed buttons on his control panel. All ships ready, Admiral. Carol nodded. Drop the cloaking field. Outside in space, the air seemed to ripple. Then ships appeared. Not just a few ships. Hundreds of ships. Big ones, small ones, fighter ships, cargo ships with guns added to them. 327 ships in total, all pointed at the Council visitors. On the Council diplomatic ship, Zoxval stood very still as he looked at his screen. The old Centaurian's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. This is unexpected, he said slowly. His aides moved nervously around him. Where did they get so many ships? We never allowed them to build a fleet this size. Many appear to be new designs, said his military advisor. Designs we've never seen before. Zoxval realized then how badly the Council had underestimated the humans. For years, they had thought they were controlling humanity. Now he wondered if the humans had been planning this all along. The human ship is contacting us, said his communication officer. On screen, ordered Zoxval. He straightened his robes and tried to look calm. Admiral Martinez appeared on his screen. Welcome to Earth space, Chair Zoxval. I see you brought friends. A standard security escort, Zoxval said. Nothing more. Of course, Carol replied with a small smile. We brought a few friends too, just to be safe. The meeting was set for Europa Station, orbiting Jupiter. It was neutral ground, not Earth, not a Council world. Each side brought 5 representatives. For Earth, lead negotiator Gloria Ortiz sat at the center of the table. She was in her 50s, with streaks of gray in her black hair and eyes that missed nothing. Across from her sat the 5 Council members, with Zoxval in the middle. The ancient alien looked tired. Running a galaxy was harder without humans doing all the work. The Council proposes humanity's return with special status. Zoxval began. His voice was formal. More freedom, better representation, and first priority for resource requests. Gloria smiled politely. Thank you for the offer, but we're not looking to come back. The Council members looked at each other in surprise. Perhaps you don't understand, said Trelnuk, the tall, thin Syrian. The galactic economy needs you. 32 systems now have critical shortages. We know, Gloria said. Earth has direct trade agreements with 23 of those systems already. We don't need the Council to manage our trade anymore. This breaks all galactic traditions, said Lithvar, her scales turning red with anger. The Council has managed interspecies relations for 20,000 years. And how has that worked out for the newer species? Gloria asked. She opened a file on the table. Pictures of different alien worlds appeared above it. The Lorians, the Crawl, the Beta Hydri Collective, all living under unfair Council rules for centuries. You're building a rival power group, accused Norak Zim, the security chief. We're building partnerships based on respect, Gloria corrected. Something the Council forgot about long ago. She pressed another button. A new image appeared, a web of connections between different star systems. This is the new alliance of independent systems, Gloria explained. Direct agreements between worlds, fair trade, shared defense. No species telling others what they can and can't do. Impossible, whispered Kexmore, the blue Altarian. The Council has always controlled all interstellar agreements. Not anymore, Gloria said. She looked at Zoxval. The galaxy is changing. The question is whether the Council can change with it. On a small jungle world far from Earth, humans and Lorians worked together to build a new spaceport. The Lorians were short, furry aliens with 4 arms. They were good builders but had always been treated poorly by the Council. The Council never helped us like this, said Miklat, the Lorian leader, as he watched the construction. Jack Davis, now Earth's ambassador to the Lorians, nodded. The Council took from you. We want to build with you. Miklat's fur rippled with emotion. My people were skeptical at first. The Council told us humans were dangerous and unpredictable. We can be, Jack admitted, but we're also loyal friends. A loud alarm suddenly blared across the construction site. Jack's communicator beeped. What is it? He asked. Council warship. Just entered the system, reported the human security officer. They're demanding we leave. They say this world is under Council protection. Jack looked at Miklat. This is your world. What do you want to do? Miklat stood straighter, all 4, arms rigid with determination. Tell them this world is now part of the Alliance. They have no authority here. Above the planet, 3 Council warships faced off against 1 human ship. The human ship was smaller, but it didn't retreat. Final warning, said the Council commander. Withdraw from this system or we will open fire. Captain Laura Chen sat calmly in her command chair. This is Alliance space by invitation of the Lorian people. We're not going anywhere. You have no chance against 3 warships, the Council commander said. Laura smiled. Look behind you. The Council ship's sensors suddenly showed 5 more ships dropping out of faster-than-light travel. But they weren't human ships. 2 belonged to the Crawl. 1 was Lorian. Another was from Beta Hydri. The last was from a species the Council had never even contacted. This is what the Alliance means, Laura said. We defend each other. The Council ships, after a tense moment, turned and left the system. Back on Earth, President Ramirez got the news. The Council tested us at Lorien just as we expected, and they backed down when they saw the Alliance fleet, said Admiral Martinez. But they'll try again. This was just the first test. Then we need to be ready for the next one, Olivia said. How are the special projects coming? Admiral Martinez handed her a tablet. The Council always limited our technology, said we weren't ready for the advanced stuff. Well, we've been catching up fast. Olivia looked at the reports and smiled. They have no idea what we're capable of, do they? They thought they were protecting themselves by keeping us down, the Admiral said. All they did was make us find our own ways to solve problems. In his private chambers on the Council homeworld, Zoxval reviewed the reports with growing concern. Humanity wasn't just surviving without the Council. They were thriving. And worse, they were helping others thrive too. The humans have shared their water purification technology with 14 worlds, his aide reported. Worlds that previously depended on Council support. And the Alliance grows stronger each day, said Norak Zim. 4 more systems have requested membership this week alone. Zoxval felt the weight of his years. Perhaps we have ruled too long, he said quietly. Perhaps we forgot how to listen. What do we do? Asked his aide. Zoxval stared at the star map, where more and more systems changed from Council blue to Alliance green each day. We adapt, he said finally. Or we become irrelevant. 3 years had passed since humanity walked out of the Council. Now, on Earth's moon, the largest meeting in galactic history was about to begin. The Harmony Dome was huge, built in the Sea of Tranquility. Through its clear roof, Earth hung like a blue jewel in the black sky. Inside, 200 alien species gathered. Some were old Council members. Many were from the new Alliance. Some had never joined either group. Daniel Kelly stood at the center podium. As Earth's Secretary of Interstellar Relations, he represented humanity. He was a man in his 40s with kind eyes but a firm voice. Today, we don't meet to destroy what came before, Daniel began. Everyone grew quiet to listen. The Galactic Council served the galaxy for thousands of years. We respect what they built. In the front row, Zoxval sat quietly. The ancient Centaurian looked even older now. The past 3 years had been hard for the Council. 11 of their member species had left to join the Alliance. The Council's control of trade had weakened as the Alliance's network grew. Most surprisingly, 5 new alien species had made contact with humans first, not the Council. But even the oldest institutions must change or die, Daniel continued. Today we propose the Galactic Cooperative, a new way for all of us to work together. Screens around the room lit up, showing the plan. It was simple, but revolutionary. Every species would have an equal voice. Leadership would rotate between different worlds. No one species or group would control everything. In the cooperative, policies will be decided by everyone together, not by tradition, Daniel explained. And innovation will be shared, not controlled. The plan included a basic law that guaranteed every world would keep its freedom. No species could tell another what to do on their own planets. When Daniel finished speaking, the room was quiet. Then Zoxval stood up. Everyone watched. What the council leader said now would shape the future. The old Centaurian walked slowly to the podium. His 4 eyes looked tired but wise. For 23,000 years my people have led the council, he said. His voice was soft but carried through the room. We believed that order required control. That stability meant some must lead and others must follow. He paused, looking around at the gathered representatives. We were wrong. A murmur spread through the room. No one had expected this. The Alliance worlds show higher growth, more new ideas and better lives than traditional council systems, Zoxval continued. These are facts we cannot ignore. He turned to face Daniel. The Centaurian consensus will support the formation of the cooperative. Over the next week, everyone worked to refine the plan. The council would not be destroyed, but transformed. Its experience and resources would become part of the new cooperative. One evening before the final signing, Zoxval found Daniel in the observation lounge. Together they looked out at Earth. You must understand, the Centaurian said. We truly believed we were protecting the galaxy. Young species often destroy themselves without guidance. Daniel nodded. Good intentions can still lead to bad results. Sometimes protecting too much prevents growth. People need freedom to make mistakes and learn from them. A difficult lesson, for a species as old as mine, Zoxval admitted. Perhaps we needed humans to, what is your phrase? Shake things up. Daniel smiled. The best moments in history aren't when one power defeats another. They're when we find a better way forward together. The next day, representatives from 200 worlds gathered for the signing ceremony. It wasn't just about the council and humanity anymore. It was about creating something new that worked for everyone. On the Beta Hydri homeworld, the tentacled aliens gathered in their meeting pools to watch the broadcast. For centuries, the council had limited their trade because their world had rare minerals the council wanted to control. Now, as part of the Alliance and soon the cooperative, they were building their first deep space vessels. The humans kept their promise, said Elder Shinblue, her tentacles rippling with emotion. Equal treatment for all. On Rigel 4, the insect-like Rigelians clicked their approval as they watched. They had been among the first to leave the council after humanity showed them a different path. The humans could have taken the council's place, said Zik-Tik to his fellow council members. They could have become the new rulers. Instead, they chose to share power. In the Procyon system, Lithvar watched with mixed feelings. She had fought against human independence at first. Now her world was joining the cooperative too. They were stronger than we knew, she told her aides. Not just in ships and weapons, but in ideas. As the ceremony began on Luna, each representative stepped forward to sign the new agreement. Old enemies stood side by side. Species that had never spoken to each other before now worked together. When it was Zoxval's turn to sign, he paused and looked at Daniel. My ancestors would not understand this, he said quietly. Sharing power was not our way. Change is never easy, Daniel replied, but sometimes it's necessary. Zoxval signed his name. 23,000 years of Centaurian rule officially ended with that signature. Later at the celebration, representatives from across the galaxy mingled. The Betelgeusians, who existed as clouds of gas, floated alongside the rock-like beings from Tau Ceti. The huge, gentle Arcturians shared stories with the tiny, quick-thinking Vega natives. Gloria Ortiz, who had led the first negotiations for humanity after the withdrawal, stood with Admiral Martinez watching it all. "Do you think it will last?" Carol asked. "This peace?" "Nothing lasts forever," Gloria replied. "But we've built something better than what came before, something fairer." "The council never would have changed if we hadn't walked out," Carol said. "Sometimes you have to be willing to leave to make things better," Gloria agreed. On Earth, children in schools learned about the new cooperative. Teachers explained how the galaxy had changed because humanity had stood up for itself and others. "But we didn't do it alone," a teacher told her class as they looked at pictures from the signing ceremony. "We showed others they could stand up too, and together we all built something new." A year later, the first cooperative deep space mission launched. The ship carried crew members from 20 different species, including humans. Their mission was to explore beyond known space, to find new worlds and possibly new forms of life. Captain Maria Lopez stood on the bridge as the ship prepared to jump to faster-than-light speed. "Captain's log," she said. "As we venture into the unknown, we carry with us the spirit of the cooperative. Not one species ruling over others, but all of us working together. When humanity walked out, the Council lost control, but the galaxy found a better way." She gave the order, and the ship jumped to FTL, streaking away into the vast unknown of space. Behind it, a changed galaxy continued to grow and evolve, finally free of the old ways that had held it back for so long. In his retirement home on the Centaurian homeworld, Zoxval watched the launch on his screen. He was very old now even, for his long-lived species. "We thought we were teaching them," he said to himself as he watched the cooperative ship disappear into the stars. "But in the end, they taught us."